Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
How about those Phillies, ladies and gentlemen, winning 5 in a row, getting to a game above 500 again. Bryce Harper going yard. Ranger Suarez returns. He's throwing some great pitches out there, having himself a grand old time. And the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen dominates the rest of the way as they get the 7-4 victory over the Colorado Rockies. And how about this? They won a series for themselves. The Phillies, in case you missed it, they lost 6 in a row. And that was bad. That wasn't fun. And now they've won 5 in a row. So that is fun. That is enjoyable. And to get Ranger Suarez back in the starting rotation is a great thing for the Phils. Bryce Harper going yard. Again, been 361 in his return. 9 games in now to his return. And I am thrilled. It's got me Googling. Like, what's the fewest amount of games a position player, because obviously you've had MVPs that have been pitchers that have only pitched like 35 games or whatever. Only in today's day and age, that's a lot. But anyway, I've looked at it and I was like, there's a couple guys out there. It's got me thinking. It's got me Googling fewest amount of games played by a position player to win an MVP award. And wouldn't you know that it's actually Michael Jack Schmidt in 1981, 101 games. The only unfortunate thing is that that's a strike-shortened season. So I don't know if you can really count that one, but like Barry Bonds had 130 games played. George Brett had about 131 games. Barry Larkin is probably your best bet because his numbers weren't like off the chart. George Brett, when he won in 1980 flat, he had a 390 batting average. That's pretty good. I don't know if Bryce Harper's going to do quite that, but it's at least got me thinking, and especially with the home run tonight to help the Phillies cap off just a great performance from start, not so much in the middle, and finish. And this game started and ended in a very similar fashion. Phillies put up 4 runs in the first inning, and even before Ranger Suarez got on the hill in Colorado at Coors Field, he had 4 runs of support. We'll get to the specifics in a second, but they put up 4 runs. Garrett Stubbs gets you an insurance run there in the 8th inning. And he gives you 5 runs in total. And then Bryce Harper stepped to the plate after Trey Turner walked in the 9th inning, top of the 9th inning, and he belted a baseball 439 feet to right field off the facing of the upper deck. Not that up, but it's upper. It's still the upper deck. And he gets his second home run of the season. So that was nice to see for our man Bryce Harper in the ballgame. The bullpen was incredible. Absolutely incredible today. And it wasn't always pretty, looking at you, Andrew Bellotti, but it worked. It certainly worked. And also looking at you, Hoffman. But let's start it off by talking about Ranger Suarez and what he was able to do out there on the hill for the Phillies, making his return to the big leagues after 3 appearances at the minor league level during a rehab assignment, makes his 2023 debut. And speaking of 2023, how do I go any further here without telling you our sponsor for the 2023 baseball season? How about this? Make your summer home for the 2023 summer. Make it beautiful with the great people of Colony Pools and Power Washing. Let them bring your home back to life for the summer of 2023. Give them a call for the entire baseball season right there at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250. If you're tired of seeing the green algae stains on your roof and you live in Delco, Chester, or in the state of Delaware, let Colony pressure wash your house and take the pressure off you. So let's talk about Ranger Suarez and what his game looked like this evening. First and foremost, I was looking at velocity. I just wanted to see how his arm was responding to the rehab assignment, how it was responding to the time off. I was going back. I was looking at some of his logs from last year. I remember 94-mile-per-hour fastball, maybe a 95-mile-per-hour fastball here and there. Throws a fastball tonight. The first one gets clocked in at 92 miles per hour. That's right. 92 miles per hour. Next up, 91, then 92 again, then 93, then 94 miles per hour. And that's how he got out of that first inning, by getting Crown there to swing at the high fastball, foul tip into the mid of Garrett Stubbs, who was catching today for JT Realmuto. Hopefully JT Realmuto doesn't miss a lot of time with that strained pinky. But you get out of that inning pretty much unscathed. You give up the one hit to Diaz there, como si, como sa, and you're able to get out of that inning by striking out Crown to end the frame. So all in all, a very good start in that first inning for Ranger Suarez. Then you roll into the second inning for Ranger Suarez. He gives up the leadoff double. McMahon has the comebacker right there to Suarez, who makes a great play on the ball. He ends up getting Grichuk out there at second base. McMahon is the one that hit the comebacker, so he's safe at first on the fielder's choice. Tovar goes out there and he hits the single to center field. McMahon goes first to third. Then, unfortunately, with the 4-0 lead, Ranger Suarez gives up his first run of the 2023 season. It wasn't going to be perfect. And that was on the Trejo's sac fly RBI to right field. Then Doyle strikes out to end the inning. Trejo's sac fly, that did play to run, and that's how you made it 4-1 at the end of the second inning. Then you roll into the third inning. Suarez gets himself into trouble again. Another leadoff double, this one off the bat of Profar. Bryant comes up, gets him swinging. Diaz then lines out to center field on a nice play by Brandon Marsh. Way to track it there. And you got 2 outs. 2 outs just like that. You're thinking you might be stranding that runner there at second base. You might be getting away from or escaping unscathed with the runner scoring from second. You might not allow that to happen. Enter Crown again. He gets the RBI double down the left field line, I believe it was. Then Grichuk ends up walking. McMahon comes up with the bloop RBI double that was just out of the reach of Brandon Marsh in center field. It was a great jump by Brandon Marsh. It was a great dive by Brandon Marsh. Goes full extension. The ball is in his mitt, and it looked like just as he was making contact with the ground, the mitt making contact with the ground, the ball just squirted loose, unfortunately. Runs end up scoring. You now go from a 4-1 ball game to a 4-2 ball game in that inning, and by the time you closed it out, it was a 4-3 ball game. Suarez at that point, and this is what I was watching for, because the velocity was looking good on his fastball. He threw a couple sliders, threw a lot of changeups, but I also wanted to see if he was able to locate his curveball, because in the first inning, he threw a curveball that just sailed out of his hands with no control. It was like 3 feet outside. So I was watching closely to see how he was going to master that curveball. To that point in the third, he had only thrown 7 curveballs in that instance. Not one was in the strike zone. So he wasn't locating it. He got a couple of guys to chase at it, which is good. Still fooling some guys, keeping them off balance. They're thinking whatever, or they're going to make contact, foul it away at least. Maybe they think it's hanging up there. They'll belt it out of the park, whatever it might be. I think to that point, seven curveballs, 2 of them were strikes, and they were both swinging strikes, but not a one of them was in the strike zone. Now, keep that in mind, because later in the ballgame, especially in that 4th inning, he really had that curveball working well for himself. After the Phillies weren't able to get anything really across the plate in that 4th inning, as they weren't able to until the 8th, he goes up there with Trejo. He gets Trejo to have the comebacker ground out to him. Doyle gets up there. He grounds out to Turner at short. Then Profar comes up, yet another double surrendered by Ranger Suarez, and then he gets Bryant to fly out to left field. All while looking strong, while looking sharp, while looking like he's going to be a guy that when he gets his numbers up there, he's going to be his pitches up there and his appearances up there. He's going to be a guy that we saw so many times last year really get you at least 6 innings of solid pitching. I mean, let's not forget, this guy went out there in the World Series and gave you 6 scoreless against the Astros, and that's really the last time we saw him out there on the bump for the Phils. So that's a great sign. Phillies then decide in the 5th inning to go to Connor Brogdon, and man, was he dealing. This is when the bullpen started to really – this is when the bullpen took over, literally, and then really kept him at bay, literally as well. Brogdon ends up giving you 2 innings, and he's masterful in the performance. In total, after Ranger Suarez gave you 4 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. He threw 72 pitches in total in those 4 innings, 44 for strikes. Connor Brogdon comes in, gives you a scoreless 2 innings out there while striking out 2, only surrenders a walk. Andrew Bellotti goes out there. He gives you a scoreless inning. He strikes out too. The interesting thing with Bellotti in his outing there, just one inning, 21 pitches, goes full count in each at bat. Each batter he faces at least goes full count. After Bellotti, you got Hoffman taking over there. They were telling all sorts of stories about Hoffman and his experience there. But Jeff Hoffman goes up there. He gets the the line drive to Trey Turner at shortstop. At this point in the game, it was a 5-3 game. Stubbs had just gotten you the insurance run on the double to right field, scoring Cody Clemens. So you're watching this unfold. And it's a 2-run ball game. Turner lets that ball go right through his mitt. Trey Turner's a lot better than that. I think we all agree Trey Turner as a shortstop is a lot better than that. But for whatever reason, broke concentration. I think it was Ruben Amaro said it on the broadcast. Maybe he was a little too cool, a little too sure of himself, maybe. That ball was just going to wind up right in his mitt. He did the old, look at his mitt, oh, is there a bigger hole in it? When that happened? Anyway, now you got a runner on. So Cron leads off the inning with that by getting on base with that ball just getting past Trey Turner's mitt. Grichuk then goes up there. Hoffman gets him to strike out for the first out of the inning. McMahon goes up there and he hits a double. They hold Crown there at third base. So now you got second and third with one out. Tovar goes up there. He gets the RBI ground out to second. Crown ends up scoring on that play. Now it's a 5-4 ball game. Trejo goes up there, and Jeff Hoffman takes care of business with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball to end the threat in that inning. So now you got a 5-4 ball game. It's only a one-run game. Starting to sweat just a little bit. Ninth inning, Pierce Johnson goes up there. He allows the walk to Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper steps to the plate and belts that fastball 439 feet to right field. Castellanos walks, Schwarber strikes out. Bohm ends it with the double play. Then you have Gregory Soto come in. Little concern there when he slipped on the mound, but all seems to be right with the world. Gets Doyle to ground out to the second baseman, Bryson Stott. Profar goes up there. He flies out to center field. And then Chris Bryant hits a slowly bouncing ball down the third baseline. Alec Bohm charges the baseball. Second play he had to make in the game like this. Charges the baseball, fires to first, gets the out, end of the game. Phillies walk away with the 7-4 victory. Just a sight for sore eyes. You could really look at that first inning and look at that ninth inning and say they're eerily similar in that there were a couple of walks issued, a couple of runs scored, of course, and then you look at the bottom half of the inning. Both had Bohm making big plays for his pitcher, to help you get out of that inning unscathed. So huge win for the Phils. I know it's still May. You can argue whether or not huge wins exists or not, but you've gotten 5 in a row. You win another series. You'll go for the sweep tomorrow with Aaron Nola on the hill. And the big thing for me in this game is not just the fact that you had another home run from Bryce Harper. It's not just that you had Bryson Stott look like his old self, get you a couple of hits, including a beautiful bunt down the third base line. And I was just ripping Bryson Stott for not being able to get bunts down just a series ago. And sure enough, he was able to do it in this game, and it was gorgeous. But the big thing is that Ranger Suarez came back. Your bullpen held up and was phenomenal. And also that your bats got him the early run support. So, hey, Ranger, go out there and let it fly, man. Go out there and let it rip. This isn't going to be a matter of you really having to make sure that you hang in there for us. We got you. Now, I will say, Feltner did not get off to a good start. And I have a pretty strong stomach. I think a lot of us that have been around a minute and watched a lot of baseball or watched a lot of sports in general, and we've seen horrific injuries. When Feltner took that ball off his head, I did gasp, and I was worried. And it wasn't just because the ball hit his head. It was the way he went down. That was scary. And to see Nick Castellanos' response to it as well, hands, his face in his hands, and looked like he was praying there at first base, and good sportsmanship for him and paying attention to it, and great sportsmanship by the Rockies to just not worry about any outs on that particular play and just try to get to the mound to help their pitcher. I was Not sure that guy was going to walk off. I was not sure that Feltner was going to walk off under his own power. He had two guys helping him up. He was sitting up at the mound. They walked him off, and that was it for him. That was definitely a scary moment in the ball game, without question. As far as his pitching went, that first inning, I told you guys yesterday that he went 3 1/3 against the Red Sox, was it? And he had walked 6 batters in that game. He walked 4 Phillies in this game. That's 10 batters. He walked 10 batters in his last 4 1/3 innings of work, and the Phillies made him pay for it today. And that helped out Ranger Suarez tremendously. So seeing that happen the way and see that go down the way it did, it's unfortunate in the second inning that it happened that way. But Lambert ended up coming in for the Rockies and just was dealing. He was able to log 3 innings, I believe, for the 3 1/3 for the Rockies, allowed just 2 hits and struck out 5 in those 3 1/3 innings of work. So he definitely calmed the storm for the Rockies, and they started to ever so slightly chip away at the 4-0 lead. They made it 4-1 in the second. They made it 4-3 in the third, and then both teams in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings couldn't muster any runs across the plate, couldn't produce any runs across the plate. In the 8th, each scored a run, and then the Phillies got the extra added bonus runs, courtesy of Bryce Harper there with that home run. Definitely a fun game, but I really got to tip my cap. As much as I love to see Ranger Suarez back, as much as I love to see Bryce Harper hit a home run, all that's great. The third base plays in the game by Alec Boehm, wonderful. But, I mean, there's no such thing as a player of the game in this instance. It's players of the game in this instance. And I got to give it to the bullpen arms, the law firm of Brogdon, Bellotti, Hoffman, and Soto, because they got it done. They needed innings to be eaten. Connor Brogdon needed to get you 2 innings. He got you 2 innings, just needed 27 pitches. Not that bad for a bullpen arm. And he came up with some clutch pitching in that performance as well. Like I said, just issuing 1 walk. So that was great. And then seeing Bellotti go out there, though wasn't pretty, like I said, still got the 2 strikeouts, still was able to get out of it unscathed. Hoffman taking care of business, and then Gregory Soto coming in as well to handle the bats of the Colorado Rockies. So tomorrow you'll go for a not just a series win, which is already in the bag, but tomorrow you look to see if you can get your one of your aces at least to see at 310. You'll see whether or not Aaron Nola can put together another solid start against the lefty Kyle Freeman. But looking at the numbers here for Aaron Nola, he is coming off a very good performance against the Toronto Blue Jays. Phillies did win that game. That was the 8-4 game that they won in the 2-game series that they swept the Blue Jays. So who knows? Maybe we get back-to-back sweeps as well tomorrow. But it'll be Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phillies tomorrow. He allowed just 2 runs in 6 innings of work on 5 hits, both earned, and issued 2 walks against the Toronto Blue Jays. With the exception, really, of that 4-run performance against the LA Dodgers, you have looked at Aaron Nola as if he has been the guy that you have really come to know again last year. A guy that deserved to be in the Cy Young conversation, and he certainly was. He hasn't quite reached Cy Young conversation again yet, but at least a dependable arm that has at least been able to get you those quality starts. And quality starts are by no way, shape, or form the thing everybody's looking for when you're talking about a Cy Young. So he's got a way to go before that. But he looks like, to me at least, that he is inching closer to that. You even saw his velocity. We talked about Ranger Suarez getting his velocity up. In his last start, Aaron Nola, you saw him hit 93 on more than one occasion. You saw him got to 94 on more than one occasion. So the velocity was up there. I know people don't like to make a big deal of the velocity. And my point after his win against the Blue Jays was maybe he is pitching himself through one of them dead arm periods. And if he is pitching his way out of those dead arm periods, if that's what he's doing right now, and you can start to see a more consistent 94-mile-per-hour 4-seam fastball, and maybe every once in a while you just touch 95, well, that's only going to set up the off-speed stuff even better. And the thing that really got me about Aaron Nola, especially, and we talked about this after his win against the Astros, is that I felt too often he fell in love with his fastball. And in that 8-inning performance he had against the Astros back on the 28th of April, he only threw his fastball 17 times in that game. His off-speed stuff is what got him through the minors and into the majors quickly. And I know he was a college guy at LSU. We all know that. But in terms of getting up here and being a consistently good pitcher and then entering in the Cy Young conversation as he has in 2 years in his career, what's got him there is the off-speed stuff. It's not blowing people away with 95-mile-per-hour fastballs. It's certainly not that. It's the off-speed stuff. It's the changeup. It's the sinker. It's keeping guys off balance with those pitches and keeping their timing off. When he falls in love with his fastball, that's what it looks like to me that he's tired. He'll just start grooving that down the middle, just trying to throw strikes, just trying to last, hoping the batter makes the mistake. Hey, hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. Try to hit this one. Oh, there's a double. Oh, there's a home run. Oh, there's a 3-run homer. Oh, there's my blow-up inning. It's over. So hopefully you're seeing right now Aaron Nola start to turn that corner. Hopefully it just starts with the quality starts and then matures and gets better and better. And you look at a guy and go, wow, 7 scoreless by Aaron Nola. 7 innings, 1 run, Aaron Nola. 8 scoreless by Aaron Nola tonight. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that's what all this boils down to. It ain't going to be easy against the Colorado Rockies. And tomorrow, like I said, they're going to have the lefty on the hill taking on the Phils and Kyle Freeland. Kyle Freeland comes into this game 3-4 on the season with a 3.57 ERA, and he is coming off a pretty solid performance there against the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he lasted 7 innings, giving up just 2 earned runs. 2 runs, both of them were earned. It was on a home run. He did walk 3 in that game, and he did also surrender 7 hits, which is the second most he has allowed this season. The most he's allowed is 8. And that was to the Pittsburgh Pirates as well. So go figure. So Kyle Freeland's having himself a nice little start to his season so far. Like I said, 3-4 on the season with a 3.57 ERA. One other thing I wanted to get into today, and that's really just the offense. And it seems like every post-game show, every time we give you guys some instant reaction here, it seems like we just got to sing the praises again of Nick Castellanos. And Nick Castellanos goes out there today and is able to get you another 3-hit performance. He also is able to work a walk in this game, so he was on base 4 times. His average is up to 325 on the season, and I have to say it. I'll say it again. I'll have to say it. Far exceeding our expectations at the plate. The power numbers, I know we're looking for home runs, but as far as what he's been doing at the plate, he has been tenfold the guy that we thought he was last year. And he's got 5 home runs on the season so far, so it could definitely add to those numbers. We'd all love to see it. But if he's continuously hitting the doubles and he's driving in runs and Bryce Harper's getting on base in front of him and you guys they're posing a threat to opposing pitchers every time those guys are going to be faced in an inning, then yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And Kyle Schwarber had a 3-0 count, got the green light today. Just missed it, flew out to left field. But if you can consistently get Harper on base the way he's been hitting, you get Castellanos batting behind him. And even if Castellanos isn't driving in the run, Kyle Schwarber's right there, man, to unload, to take the guys off the base pads. And I think it's also important to note that you did not have JT Realmuto today. And when you talk about the catcher position, it certainly didn't cost you today. Garrett Stubbs coming up with that big hit and was in line to be the game-winning hit until Bryce Harper unloaded on that 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning. But Nick Castellanos' number is definitely worth mentioning again and praising for the job that he has done this season. And then Trey Turner's 11-game hit streak came to an end in the ball game today. He did reach base twice, walking both times. And he did score 2 runs, which is also good, which was also very nice. But during the 11-game hitting streak, I'll say it again, his average went from 263 to 256 at the close of today. Going into the game, it only dropped 2 points. Now just a little bit more. Now that he made that play at shortstop, and now that he's been struggling and there's no more hit streak, I don't know what needs to be done with Trey Turner at this point. Other than the thing that nobody wants to do. Like, none of us want to sit there and go, well, I'm sure he'll turn it around. Like, where's the fun in that? That's not fun. Like, I'd love to be and I think he is going to do it. I don't think this is going to be the Nick Castellanos type year for Trey Turner, where it's like, All right, nice to meet you, Philadelphia. Let's get acquainted while I have a really bad season. I don't think that's going to be it. I still think there's a better version of baseball in Trey Turner that we will see this year for an extended period of time. But man, it's mid-May, folks. It's mid-May. And this is tough. This is really tough to watch with Trey Turner. I'm glad he's getting on base. I'm glad he had some good at-bats. It's something that he doesn't always have, and I have certainly been on him for not having good at-bats, and today being able to work 2 walks is a beautiful thing. Him scoring 2 runs is a beautiful thing. But if this lineup, because we all know at some point Harper's going to hit some kind of a wall and he's going to go through a slump. Castellanos, I'm going to go ahead and say he's not going to hit 320, 330 this year. I'm just going to, if you can excuse me to not be an eternal optimist, I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's not going to happen. And as we all know, in the sport of baseball, there's always balance. So I think this year, Trey Turner is going to have his turn being the guy that's turning the heads, being the guy that's getting on base, being the guy that's even going to drive in Bryson Stott when he gets on base before him. That's what I see happening as this season goes on. So as of right now, with it being May 13th, I'm not going to go all crazy, lose my mind on Trey Turner just yet. But just know that it's lying, it's waiting in the weeds. In case I'm wrong, in case this is as good as it gets, in case this is his introduction to Philly year where he's just got to be like, well, I'm just trying the slippers on now, and hopefully they fit really well by the end of the year. But I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that's the case. This is just getting used to my new digs, getting used to my new teammates. That's all it is, right? Right? Please, let's all pray. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and hold out hope and just say, it's just a rough start. Just a rough start. That's all. I still can't make sense, by the way. I still can't make sense of the idea that he's going to swing his way out of this. I thought the way to do it was, take more. Because look, even if the average isn't up there, but the on-base percentage is going to get up there, his on-base percentage is now 307. That's still not good by a Trey Turner standard, by the way. That's still not good. But if he's going to have those long at-bats and he's going to work some walks, and the next thing you know, you blink, you see that average up to, that on-base percentage up to 325. Then you see it up to 330, then maybe 340. Then we're going to see a guy start to turn it around. And then also at the same time, maybe if he's working some 3-0 counts, 3-1 counts, he's going to get those fastballs he can groove into the gap for extra bases, doubles, triples. Then all will be right with the world after that. So I'll cross my fingers that that's where we're headed in the not-too-distant future with Trey Turner. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Cody Clemens. Got to mention him. 2 hits today as well. Shout out to Cody Clemens. Before I put a bow on this one, let me see how all you beautiful people are out there. Michael, you're not wrong. I'm going to go from bottom to top on this one. Michael Heft. Oh, come on. We only pay Turner $300 million. Pennies on the dollar. Screw the power numbers. On base percentage means more. I agree, and that's why I'm telling you right now. When you talk about top of the order guys, I agree, but I want that batting average to be better if you have a guy like Bryson Stott on second base, or even if you have it on first base. I would like to see him get some hits and maybe you score that run. That way he also gets on base, and then you have Bryce Harper clean it up, and then you have Nick Castellanos. For guys that are batting 1 and 2, you're right. The batting average, not that big a deal. On base percentage, 1,000% on the same page with you right there. Sean Gillespie, please turn the damn corner already, Nola, please. Michael Felt, did Turner's average go down again? Yes, it did. Aaron Karen Daring. What's happening? Never sweat a second. Okay. Rockies, Reds, Marlins, Nationals. See a pattern? They're not good? Is that the pattern? Aaron Karen Daring? Daring. Anyway, Michael Heff, do you think our bullpen will tire by the end of the season again? I expressed that concern last night when I talked about Craig Kimbrell, about him lasting for an entire season, but I'll just take it. I'll take it now. Like, just 34 years old, dealing the way he was dealing last night, 97-mile-per-hour fastballs. I think he hit a 98-mile-per-hour fastball as well. Dropping in that knuckle curve, poetically, I'll say. That's a tough call. The age thing bothers me. Alvarado's getting a little bit of break, although it's an injury. He's getting that break. it's tough to predict. I think what's really going to help this bullpen, and is kind of the X factor in all this, is that with Suarez being back, Strahm is back in the bullpen. And you talk about a guy like Connor Brogdon coming in and saving the day by getting you not only 1, but 2 innings. Strahm can do that on a consistent basis. So that's a guy, along with Connor Brogdon, that I think will really help a lot of your bullpen arms stay ready for the end of the year and stay in shape and ready to go by the end of the year. So that's one thing I think we can hang our hat on until the end of the season. John Marinelli, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Back to 500, back over 500. Yes, they're 1 game over 500. Michael Heft, here we go. Next stop, 100 wins. Yeah, baby. Let's keep it going. Sean Gillespie, keep it up, Phils. It's fun when they win. Baseball's a lot more fun when they win. When they're bad, it's terrible. It really sucks. But when they win, it's a lot more fun. Nola gets the ball for the Phillies tomorrow, as they'll look to push to go 2 games over 500. And that was, I believe that's when they had their last downfall. They got to 2 games over 500, and then they lost to the Astros. They got swept by the Dodgers. Then they came home. They lost 2 of 3 to the Boston Red Sox. That wasn't fun. And then they started a 5-game winning streak. So, hey. Here's to being 2 games over 500 again, right? That's what we're all excited to, right? Huh? Right? We're all on the same page? Cool. Thanks, everybody. Let me thank the good people of Colony Pools and Power Washing. Win and save this baseball season with our friends from Colony Pools and Power Washing. Let the experts get rid of that ugly green algae and mold off your roof, off your siding, and off your deck. They service Delaware, Delco, and Chester counties. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250. Alex Schmidt. Schmitty produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. My name is Marc Farzetta. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow right here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel for another Phillies postgame show. Hopefully after the Phillies break out the brooms in Colorado and sweep up the Rockies. 3:10 start time tomorrow. They'll get that game done in 20 minutes, right? Right? Anyway, talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
This is Governor Ed Rendell urging you to vote for my friend Judge Pat Dugan for Superior Court. I appointed Judge Dugan in 2007 to the Philadelphia Municipal Court, where he now serves as its president judge. Pat is a proud Army veteran of 23 years. He served 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's also recommended by the Philadelphia Bar Association. But most importantly, he bleeds Eagles green and hates those Dallas Cowboys. So get out and vote for number 3, Judge Pat Dugan for Superior Court.
Paid for by Dugan 2023.